Alrighty, guys, peace. As y'all can see by the title, we getting into the infamous The Dog. All right, SIP, Sleep in Peace, Transition in Peace, DMX. Okay, we jumping into these natal energies. Now, we already, even if you didn't know about DMX that much, you knew about DMX. All right, he was one of those type of superstars, and there's a certain passion, intensity that a lot of us understand that's familiar with his energy. So it's real interesting to see how these different energies come about when we break it down. All right, but I got some clips for y'all. Okay, so I just want to open it up with this one pretty popular piece from DMX.
I'm bringing to the stage my man from Yonkers, New York, DMX.
Wait, hold on, guys. Excuse me. I don't think I shared my screen. Yeah, I didn't even share my screen. Well, I was about to play a whole video. Play a whole video and not know I was sharing my screen the whole time. Alrighty.
I'm bringing to the stage my man from Yonkers, New York, DMX. Yeah. That's what's up. I appreciate it. What I'm gonna speak on is the thing that's on my mind the most. You know what I'm saying? The thing that we all gotta deal with every day, but don't really know. The industry. The industry, man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent, it's about playing the game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the bat. The industry got your word meaning nothing. The industry, fuck what you heard because he's bluffing. The industry, money, bitches, hate, but I dare you to try to take a fucking thing off my plate. The industry like, wait, but in the streets we like, get 'em. 17 up in that thing, catch him sleeping and hit him. The industry, if you ain't got a strong mind, the industry will break you down, it's a matter of time. The industry, vultures with nothing to feast on. See me, I'm getting my beast on. The industry, stay in the dirt, play in the dirt, test the wrong one in the industry and you will get hurt. I'm not an industry artist, I'm an artist in the industry. So I do what the fuck I want because nobody can finish me. The industry, wanted, dead or alive, new artists to sell their souls in the way they survive. The industry don't give a fuck about you, but the industry couldn't make a dime without you. The industry, I'm sick of this industry shit. The industry playing them like a industry bitch. They tried to finish me quick, but I am long, so I stand strong. Fuck a beat. Listen to the words in the damn song. I only know how to speak the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I got a little short joint I'm gonna hit you with. You know what I'm saying? And it basically reflects on my relationship with the industry. This is what it is. Often my words fall on deaf ears. Motherfuckers be listening, but don't hear. Talking to a nigga, he be sitting right here. I be like, where you going? Nigga be like, yeah. Thank you.
All right. So now we have DMX's natal pulled up right here. So let's get right into it, family. The first significant thing we want to look at is the relationship between his sun and his moon. All right. We know the moon is who you are. This is your emotions. This is what makes you feel the most comfortable. All right. It deals with a lot of what you connect to. It deals with a lot of what you attract, what you receive. All right. We know that moon is a magnet. So whatever house the moon is in, if it's always receiving in that house, it's always attracting scenarios in that house, whether positive or negative, due to the vibe that you may be on. due to the vibe that you may be resonating with. That's what you're attracting on that frequency. All right. But the moon is pulling that in. But ultimately, we have to understand that the moon is what makes you the most comfortable. So we don't have his birth time, so we don't know what house system he's dealing with. But when we have the moon in Virgo, okay, Virgo's mutable earth ruled by Mercury. So first of all, we have the moon in the earth sign. The earth is dealing with practicalities, not dealing with emotion. All right, it's dealing with structure, it's dealing with organization. Virgo's ruled by Mercury. Mercury's dealing with how we think, how we critically analyze, how we jump into being detail oriented, how we see the numbers, how we see the words, how we put things together, how we read the directions, how we deal with the instructions, how we dissect things critically that we've experienced. All right, how we communicate. So the Virgo energy heavily deals with detail implemented into reality. All right, it heavily deals with how it's able to cultivate things in reality and how it's able to pick it up from others as well. But one thing about that Virgo energy with Mercury here, Mercury overthinks. Mercury could, stimulate the mind. Mercury is could overstimulate the mind, and Mercury's Virgo's birthed out of the sixth house. The sixth house dealing with our regiment, our day-to-day routine, schedule, organization, but also rules the nervous system. So this is why when we look at the Virgo energy, depending on their vibe, what they're connected to, what they're attached to, what's heavy on a Virgo's mind or emotions can heavily lead into anxiety easily. All right. Or people that have a lot of planets in the sixth house. So when we look at DMX being a Virgo, this is what made him feel the most comfortable. Him feeling like he had to see the detail of things. Him feeling like he had to have one up on how he's going to go about structuring something in his reality. That's what makes him feel the most comfortable. That's the energy that's sending commands to the sun. When we talk about the moon is who you truly are, the sun in the rising is really just the perception, the action, the light. The moon is the internal. So when we have it in Virgo, these people feel like they have to work on things a lot. These people can be very restless. Virgo moons could be very restless. All right. Because it almost feels uncomfortable to not be working on something. It almost feels uncomfortable to not be putting something together, not structuring something, not scheduling something, not prioritizing something. All right. So this is DMX. This is who he is at his core. Now, when we look at the relationship it has with the sun, it's squaring the sun. The sun is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is dealing with knowledge, faith, belief. All right. It's an esoteric energy. It's dealing with expansion, abundance. Okay. Overall, how we learn from our experiences. Philosophy, spirituality. Sagittarius, that constellation, mutable fire ruled by Jupiter. Fire is dealing with expression, creativity. It's not dealing with structure and organization. All right. It's dealing with expression, what you could put in the light, what you could see, your visions, how you feel about things, pushing out. But since it's ruled by Jupiter, it's expressing its knowledge and wisdom. It's pushing out its perspectives about things. It's pushing out its spiritual outlooks about things, whether this person considers themselves spiritual or not. Sagittarius is going to have their own philosophies and perspectives and quote unquote broad, open mind, bird's eye viewpoint of views on things. So this is the clash. We know mutable signs, they're going to clash each other. They're doing the same thing in different energies. So Virgo's mutable earth, Sagittarius mutable fire. When you got these two energies in the square, you're going to have somebody that what makes them feel the most comfortable is a sense of organization and structure. But when it comes to their actions can be chaotic, reckless. Their actions don't like dealing with restriction. Sagittarius constellation don't like dealing with restriction. When we look at fire, fire already is hard to contain. Fire already wants to dance, spread, especially Sagittarius fire, because Sagittarius is mutable. Mutable signs are the most flexible and adaptable. So when we talk about that Sagittarius fire, it's trying to spread its knowledge and wisdom, its creativity, its awareness about things, what it knows. It's trying to enlighten. Okay, when we look at the ninth house that births Sagittarius, this is the house of enlightenment. So here you got somebody that feel comfortable dealing with organization and structure, but when it jumps into their actions, the way that they take action on what is it that they're trying to work on in reality, the way that they take action on how they're trying to schedule or prioritize things could be a little unrealistic. It could just go off the feel or how it sees things. All right. So this alignment, when you have the moon in Virgo, the sun in Sagittarius, this person is going to be strategical. But when it comes to their actions, they got to learn to align their philosophies, their spiritual outlooks, how they see or how they feel about things, their emotions about things, correlating with their schedule, what they're working on. But that's a hard thing to do. Because once again, that Sagittarius sun don't like no restriction. That Sagittarius sun, when it sees something enlightening, when it sees something that has potential, keyword fire, see. Also with the sun, see. So DMX sees experiences. He sees adventure. He sees what he can learn from. Okay. And a lot of the time, you know, a Sagittarius is not trying to hear all that planning and restriction energy and all that detail energy when it's getting into what is it is trying to experience. Okay. So if you know anything about DMX's upbringing, you know, he went through a lot of, you know, he had a rough childhood. Moved around a lot, you know, was on his own, was incarcerated. He went to, I believe he was in detention centers. So he had a rough childhood, you know, got hooked on drugs early. So when we look at the Virgo moon energy dealing with that nervousness energy, it's Earth. So Earth is dealing with reality. So when reality feels imbalanced, unstable for a Virgo moon, not only does that make them highly nervous, highly uncomfortable, depending on, you know, where their vibe is at, is they could lead to drugs. They could lead to certain substances. They could overindulge. We know Venus is debilitated in Virgo. So when it comes into Venus dealing with what we love, substances, things that we like, things that make us feel good, Virgos may mishandle how to place moderation on these things, and it clashes what they with the true work they're supposed to be doing. The things that they're supposed to be scheduling to take care of their regiment, take care of their well-being. So it's easy to see how DMX gravitated towards them things. And then his Sagittarius sun, he was already on his own. He was already on his own, already had a rough childhood. So that sun is going to seek out knowledge. He's going to seek out wisdom. By default, as a Sagittarius, he's going to be pushed into a lot of experiences, a lot of things outside his familiar surroundings, you know. But when it comes to DMX's expression, wise as hell. No matter how reckless he may come off, no matter how unorganized, chaotic DMX may come off, to our natural presentation, that Sagittarius energy, we don't even personally know DMX, and we could tell, you know, there was some scattered energies he was dealing with. But it's always going to have this type of alignment. This person is going to have a philosophical point of view when it comes to reality. So if you know DMX, even when it comes to his music, when it comes to his interviews, that clip I just played, he's talking about the reality of the industry from a more broader point of view. He's giving you some meaning and reasonings into it. And how's he doing it? In a fiery way, aka in a creative way, in an expressive way. He's on the stage with it, mic in his hand, spreading the knowledge and wisdom. Now, Sagittarius can be very prideful, and they can have high belief and faith in their perspectives and their morals and outlooks about things. So fire going to be expressive. You're going to see and feel it whenever they jump into forms of expression, okay? Especially if they are artists or whatnot. So the fact that DMX, you know, on top of his what may come off as chaotic or reckless or very vibrant, you know, some type of shape or form, that fire is going to jump into spreading some knowledge and wisdom to others, spreading some form of enlightenment. And he's very known to be, you know, a very wise individual. So this is why I was saying, I have said before, guys, like, it don't matter if you're a mechanic, if you're a hairstylist, if, you know, you're a dancer, you got heavy Jupiter alignments, you're going to be teaching a lot in what you do. If you have certain Jupiter alignments or house lord alignments landing in the 9th house, the 12th house, spiritually inclined houses, or you know, Jupiter rules one of your earth houses, this is going to indicate some form of teaching within your career. All right. So, you know, that's what stood out to me the most. But yeah, it's funny because if you also watch the roles DMX has played in movies, it's crazy how his true nature This is probably why he was a good actor in a lot of his movies, because if you watch Belly, Romeo Must Die, you know, DMX persona had a lot of paranoia in these films. Had a lot of paranoia, and he had reckless actions behind it. So it's almost like the directors and the writers of the story knew DMX natural, chaotic, expressive character would fit into these roles. Just like Cameron playing, you know, playing what's his name? Name is my Alpo in Paid in Full. You know, it's like these writers directed, they have a great great imagery of the character, and they know these people could fit these roles. So DMX paranoid, like if you guys watch Belly, Romeo Must Die, you understand what I'm talking about with paranoia, and then maybe not taking the most you know, realistic actions towards how he's trying to deal with reality. And that's what that alignment has to learn is a square, guys. We know when the sun squares the moon, it's going to play out in situations where the sun has to learn how to resonate and take effective actions from the moon. So while Virgo's trying to find different ways and learn from others on how to deal with reality in a more detail-oriented and strategical way, the sun in Sagittarius is learning how to has to learn how to, you know, align its knowledge and wisdom, its awareness about things, how it deals with its creativity, and learn how to express that more efficiently, know how to do that more practically. All right. But a lot of creativity into how this person is able to formulate what they're doing in life. All right. Now, so yeah, it's heavy influence on DMX being a Sagittarius and what it really means coming with that Jupiter influence. All right. Now, and then, oh yeah, so I was saying how lack of stability make a Virgo moon very nervous. When you're a Sagittarius sun, all right, and that sun is not taking out actions to help feel more stable because it's already chaotic, reckless. It don't like restrictions. It goes off to see how it sees and feels about things. You know, here, this can make this person deal with a shit ton of mood swings and different emotions, because they're trying to understand how they could look at their own actions to be more stable. They're understanding how they could look at their more Jupiter's always tapping you into reflecting and thinking about your experiences and seeing what things mean. As a Sagittarius, that's why Sagittarius sun moon risings can be very superstitious on top of being spiritual, because they're always trying to find the meaning and reasoning into things. And you know, that's not making the moon feel comfortable. So this person internally, a lot of misunderstandings. This person is always trying to, you know, understand why they can't stay on task with the way that they know they should be organizing, structuring things. This person may have a lot of creative endeavors or certain philosophical outlooks on things, and then has struggles learning how to align it in a more practical way, or seeing how these philosophies, perspectives play out in reality. So this is what DMX was understanding, learning. If you guys got Sagittarius or Virgo anywhere in your sun, moon, rising, you may be dealing with a lot of them internal energies as well, trying to understand how reality work with spirituality, trying to see how you could work your belief system or your forms of creativity and what you believe in or have faith in into reality. All right. We got Mercury dealing with being detail oriented. We got Jupiter dealing with knowledge and wisdom, experiences, philosophy, and that more, you know, more of a spiritual essence type of energy. So this is the relationship between his sun and his moon right here when we look at DMX. Now, he has Lilith in Virgo. He has Lilith in Virgo, and Lilith, we haven't spoke much about Lilith here on Patreon, but we're definitely gonna jump into more lessons about that as we get into Lilith, the asteroids, nodes. But when we look at Lilith, Lilith is gonna indicate some shadow work, deeper, darker parts about yourself that you need to discover and learn how to evolve from and deal with. All right. I like to say, likes to deal with a lot of shadow work, shows this more shadow side of yourself. Lilith is going to attract situations in your life, especially around Saturn return times in your late 20s, 30s, 31, 32. It's going to, wherever it's at, is going to attract some heavy, vulnerable situations that make you deal with your shadow side. and it's going to deal with the dark side of the sign it's in, and it's going to attract the opposite energy. So with Virgo, with Lilith in Virgo, DMX is already a Virgo moon. So what makes him the most comfortable is having some form of stability, security, stableness, being able to trust those around him. All right. Not being in over environments that make him overthink, not being around people that make him overthink about things, because he already overthinks. So that makes a Virgo moon highly nervous and uncomfortable as well. All right. When other people making it think more about shit that it was already calculating, or people throwing out foolish perspectives or opinions about things when it's trying to find a practical solution about something, that could be a pet peeve as well. But Lilith in Virgo, this person is going to attract a lot of situations where people can come off with no sense of being grounded, no sense of security, attract all that Pisces energy, people bringing a lot of abstract thoughts and different emotions your way, and that makes you feel uncomfortable, and you have to learn how to deal with these situations in realistic ways. All right. So Lilith and Virgo could attract situations where, there's things that you got to prioritize in your life. You're developing a efficient schedule towards working towards a certain goal, and you have somebody that you're close to or connected to, or somebody in your environment, or you're in an environment and it's playing out like this is a real, maybe you're in a relationship that the emotions of it is throwing off your priorities. Maybe you're in an environment that has no form of stability. So to be able to even go and jump into what you want to work on, there's a lack of just being able to deal with your solitude or privacy to jump into your schedule, what priorities you have. A lot of people keeping you imbalanced, a lot of people trying to make you not deal with your schedule forms of organization and take you off to different fantasies or wave fantasies or potentials of things in your face to intrigue you to embark on certain things away from your schedule and your priorities, and learning how to deal with the emotions that come with being unstable at times. That's all the energies that deal with Lilith. But it goes deep in the the search within yourself for how you could bring organization into your life. So I know DMX dealt with some dark situations in his life, dealing with finances, taxes, he didn't own his music. I believe he was in and out of jail at times for things dealing with his taxes and whatnot. So Lilith here forces you to have to deal with the dark energies of that sign. And the dark energy of Virgo is no stability, no security, no organization, everything spontaneous, everything wild, chaotic, no order. That's Sagittarius energy: philosophy, expansion, travel, spirituality, no restriction. That's Sagittarius energy. So not only did he have his sun clash with his Lilith, making them situations harder, that was part of his spiritual path. That was part of things he had to learn with Lilith in Virgo. So it could have triggered some very traumatic situations in his life with him on top of being a Virgo moon. All right. Because what makes him feel the most comfortable is something in this lifetime that he has to learn to work to get. He has to learn to establish some type of regimen or make order of the chaos in his life, even the things externally that he attracts, in order to understand how that's going to help him learn how to build stability, security around himself. So that type of alignment could bring a lot of trauma and a lot of situations that got DMX to gravitate towards certain substances, or, and there's even, I watched a documentary a while ago, and I may be misquoting, all right, but I believe, he was dealing with drugs or whatnot, but I believe like he was either smoking weed or something. Somebody, laced it. And then ever since then, he had a real issue with drugs. So, that brings us into a great segue going into Scorpio stellium. All right. That brings us into a great segue talking about his Scorpio stellium. So if we look over here, guys, he got Mars 7 degrees in Scorpio, Venus 15 degrees in Scorpio, Jupiter 24 degrees in Scorpio, and he got Neptune 1 degree in Sagittarius, but it's cusping Scorpio. But we could say he has 3 planets in there. All right. So we know stellium's overactive energies, a lot of experiences. You're going to be pushed and forced to learn, gain a lot of clarity in that area of life. All right. There's a lot of things that gravitate you and connect you to dealing with that area of life or with that energy when you have 3 or more planets in a sign or a house. So Scorpio is dealing with that deep transformation, our desires, all right? The depth of our emotion, our secrets, what we don't keep, what we don't put in the light, what we don't connect and express to others, what we have frustration or vulnerability dealing with connecting to others when it comes to certain emotions or things behind the scenes that we deal with, all right? Now, when you have a Scorpio stellium, he's already a Sagittarius sun. So the way he expresses himself is free-spirited. Y'all see the clips in the industry. You see how he's expressing how the restriction in the industry makes him feel uncomfortable. You see how he's expressing how the reality of the industry doesn't support the creativity and the artist. So that's him already expressing his life with his sun and his moon. That's him already expressing how, the things that he looks towards for stability and security and how he may go about gaining that in reality or dealing with reality. Because with the moon and Virgo, you're going to deal, manifest, receive, attract a lot of situations, learning how to cultivate reality, deal with responsibility, deal with priorities. If you got an earth moon, you already know I got an earth moon. So he already dealing with that type of energy. When it comes to his Sagittarius sun not being restricted or whatnot, wanting to be expressive and all that. So count on the Sagittarius to express themselves, period. And even though with an earth moon, it could ground them in some type of shape or form, that sun going to do what it got to do. It's just that what Sagittarius sun is expressing a lot is a lot of its viewpoints, a lot of its philosophies, a lot of its wisdom and experiences about things it dealt with in reality, about things it dealt with when it was trying to work on things. Virgo's mutable. Mutable signs are flexible and adaptable, so they deal with working with others, learning how others work on things. So by default, he's going to give a lot of his wisdom on that, him working with others, on the industry, people in the industry, what he's learned from connecting, networking with others in reality. So he already got all them energies. And then when we get into all these heavy Scorpio energies, people that have heavy Scorpio stelliums, this is Mars. And then Scorpio's heavy water, heavy emotion, passionate water, intense emotion. So these are the energies that fine tune his character, which he's a Sagittarius sun, Virgo moon. We don't know what his rising is, but this brings a lot of that intensity. This brings a lot of that intensity and passion to his character. Scorpio deals with energies behind the scenes. So if you just Google or if you just YouTube DMX interviews, 9 out of 10 times in the interview, he's giving you information about something he experienced behind the scenes and something that it may be a situation where it's the industry or certain relationships he have. And he'll say things like, yeah, y'all don't know about that. Or they're trying, or they'll try to cover that, or they be trying to hide that. A Scorpio is going to, if you have a Sagittarius sun that's expressing, giving his knowledge and wisdom and his experiences, its awareness, what it could see. If you have a lot of Scorpio experiences in your life, deep transformative experiences in your life, that's going to end up getting filtered through that sun. Because the sun is the overall expression. But when you get into Mercury, Venus, Mars, these are the different energies that filter. These are the different energies that edit and, refine who you are, which is really your sun, moon, rising, and your south node. Okay. So when we look at Mars in Scorpio, Mars is home in Scorpio. So it feels, when a planet is home, it feels comfortable. So it feels comfortable, dealing with a sense of deep emotion, and I feel like it has to compromise that for others. It has a influence to want to have. Mars and Scorpio people have strong intentions for things. They have strong viewpoints on things, and they fight for them. And depending on the houses where you go through a lot of that transformation, fighting for these energies. But Mars and Scorpio people are intense with the way that their emotion runs deep for things that they're passionate about. Mars is already dealing with being goal-oriented, setting intentions. So when you put it in such a deep water like Scorpio, this person could take their passions and hone in on it for a long time, take their passions and boil it. All right. But when they don't get that outlet, that's when it becomes overwhelming, transforms them. But when they do have a creative outlet, when they do have a way to connect it or release it, a lot of powerful things is done with that energy. So DMX, Mars, and Scorpio, this adds to his intensity. This adds to the depth of his music. This adds to how deep his music is. DMX has music that'll make you think. DMX has music that'll make you move the emotions. I'm slipping, I'm falling, I won't get up. One of his biggest records. That track moves a lot of people. It could get a lot of people. That track could get you into some deep emotion. It could help you shed a tear if it's one of them days. All right. But the Sagittarius sun is gonna give their outlooks on that. Okay. The Virgo moon gonna be detail oriented when it comes into the things that they experience and ultimately giving its outlook on how things move in reality, because that's its world that it lives in. But because DMX has so much spiritually inclined placements, because he got a sun in Sagittarius, a stellium in Scorpio, two spiritually inclined signs, the way his Virgo moon is dealing with that energy in that world is learning to deal with reality, but its other chakras is looking at is altering its reality through a more philosophical point of view, seeing the meanings and reasonings of things, trying to understand reality, trying to understand on a subconscious level, trying to make sense of their experiences as far as what that experience was supposed to mean in reality, why I went through that. So it get deep there. But Mars and Scorpio, yeah, very intense individuals. They will fight for their goals.